Hello, how you doing? Right, I'm just going to answer these. I've set up this microphone as a wee experiment um, because I think I get a better audio source from this thing, and I'm just going to ramble if that's okay with you. So I'm just going to go through the questions. I've done this before for someone, and it still feels weird because usually when I'm making a video for someone, I don't think about one specific person. Do you know what I mean? And then when somebody sends me questions and then I'm answering it, I'm only thinking of that specific person and it gives me the fear a wee bit, right? So there's probably going to be a bit of in between, right? But I'm trying my best. Right, so question one. So firstly, could you introduce yourself to the viewers and tell us a little background on yourself and what you do? So my name's Tragic O'Hara and I am a professional walrus chaser. What I do, I don't really know. Like I make things. I like making things. Like I make music and I like to paint stuff and I paint murals and I'll make videos and I don't know. I just like making things. That's what I like. That's what makes me happy is the making things. And me, I don't see what I mean about the humming and hawing? Um I like making things. That's what makes me happy. And it took me a long time to figure out that's the thing that properly makes me happy is that just actually making something. Not so much like when I was out gigging and stuff. It wasn't so much the playing in front of people that I enjoyed. It was the making the music. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I don't really gig anymore and I don't really do stuff like that. And these videos work really well for me because I'm just making videos. Like the video's a thing, and when I'm sitting down and editing stuff, that's what I like doing. So that's it. I mean, I've been doing this for years. Like I made my first demo when I was 15 in the school music room with a tape recorder. And ever since then, like I made posters and I made music videos and like I skateboarded and I done all this stuff, like just making different things and doing different stuff. And that's basically I've been doing it my whole life, I think. But it's only really been the last kind of like I've dipped in and out professionally. Like I've gave up being a professional walrus thing chaser maker like 3 times. In the last 3 years, it's been my full time job with varying levels of success. Essentially, like that's it. The other thing I should probably let you know is see if I don't have somebody making a face at me telling me like wrap that up, like I will go on forever. Okay, this will probably be about a 3 hour. This will be like Lord of the Rings when we're finished. You seem to love various creative forms of art. Can you show the viewers some of your favourite paintings and creations, such as your t-shirts, and tell us what your ideas and the inspiration behind them? So, I've got a t-shirt. That was a t-shirt that I broke. How can you break a t-shirt? You know what I mean? Like it wasn't sitting right, so like I just cut it off and I stapled it onto a canvas. So like that's the sort of stuff I like making. Like I make lots of stuff though. I've been making instruments recently. This is just a prototype, but like sounds awful, doesn't it? But my idea for that was so my wife works with adults with complex needs, so I wanted to make instruments that you don't really need to know how to play, sort of thing. Like with a guitar, you need to have this hand working and this hand working at the same time. But with that, you just tighten the screw and it tunes the note up and down, so you can literally play a note and another note that you think sounds nice or sounds good, and work it like that. So like if I have an idea, I just write it down and I'll get to it eventually. And if it's an idea that I like, then it tends to happen quicker than the ones that I'm not so much into, and then they disappear or evolve. So I write everything down in this book. Like I've got loads of books, but like this is the one I'm using now. So like everything, I write down everything. Like this probably is going to make me look like a proper weirdo, but I've been playing chess recently. I've got right into chess because Jizza for the Wu-Tang Clan talks about chess quite a lot, and I watched that Queen's Gambit. I was like, I'm going to learn how to play chess. But then I thought, like, I don't like playing chess down the way. Like, if I have I've got a chessboard. I'd like to make a chessboard. That's another thing. But if I had a chessboard down, I am the worst at keeping things safe. Like, I just knock things out all the time and break things, like, regularly. So if I have it sitting on the table, then it won't, I'm going to knock it over and ruin whatever I'm playing or whatever I'm trying to learn. So I was trying to figure out a way to make a vertical chessboard, like a dartboard that sits on a wall, and it would like lift up and spin round 180 degrees depending on whose moves next, sort of thing. That's the stuff I like doing. Oh my god! See, when you say it out loud, it does make me feel like an absolute screwball. But that's what I like doing. The funny thing is, this is me. Like, this is what I've always done. Like, I've got books and I'll show you. In fact, this is just some of them, right? These are all books of like lyrics and ideas and different things that I've drawn down and written down that I want to make. But the difference is, like, when I was writing all these, a lot of the time I'd write down ideas and never make them because I was afraid. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was afraid of what people would think of me, so I stopped. It's only recently that I've kind of went, like, I'm just making the things I want to make, and these videos are something that's helped me do it. Because if I was to just make a thing, a vertical chessboard, you know what I mean, and put it on a wall, photo go, he is a total bamstick, like, up himself kind of thing. Whereas there's a reason for it. Like, it's because I'm so bad at looking after stuff that if it's on a wall, there's less chance of me breaking it. And these videos let me tell that story kind of thing. So, and that's what I'm into, is just telling this story. I think answers your question. I'm so sorry. I do this all the time, right? I hear you're a professional walrus chaser and are currently working on a book. Could you explain this in more depth to our viewers? So I am a professional walrus chaser, right? It's a bit of a saga, but essentially I wrote a job description one night in here when I was cleaning up, and I started to, like, I know what makes me happy. Like, I've said it, like, what makes me happy is making things. But then I started to think about why it made me happy. Like, why does that make me happy? And ever since then, ever since I started thinking about why, I've thought everything I do, I've applied that. Why am I doing that? Like, why am I doing this? And just constantly just chasing the why and trying to find the why. So that's what the book's about. Since I figured out my why's on my job description. Like, I made a video about the whole thing. My why's a secret because it's my why. And if I'm honest about it, if I was to go about professing my why to people might poke holes in it. And right now it's special for me. Like, there's something in that just motivates me. And if I showed it to someone and they could poke holes in it, it might change it for me and make me feel a certain way about it. And I don't want to risk it. Like, everything else is in public, everyone else gets to see it, but that my why is secret. Like, it's got to be mine, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's what it is. And the professional walrus chaser thing is because, like, my goal, like, my dream is to paint really big murals of what I see in my head when I listen to music. So, like, when I listen to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, I'm building a model of that right now. Something that I'll paint on a wall. Moonish Daydream by David Bowie. But the one I want to do more than anything is I Am the Walrus by the Beatles. So I thought, instead of me saying I'm an artist, which I've never really felt comfortable saying, because that whole thing about an artist, when I think, not all the artists, but a lot of the artists I meet, or I have met, have been, I don't want to just do one thing. And, like, when I see artists that specialise on, in characters or, like, figurative or, you know, all that stuff, I'm just not into it. Never went to art school. I'm not formally educated. I'm just a guy that just likes making things. That's it. Like, I don't think I'm anything special in the grander scheme of things. Like, I know what makes me happy and I just want to make it. And the professional walrus thing is, like, that's the thing I want to do more than anything. So why not just make everything about that one thing? And that's what it's about. That's the why I'm a professional walrus chaser. But it's not my why for existing in the universe. That's just the why behind the job. Do you know what I mean? Because you're more than a job. So, and that's what the book's about. So the book's about finding your why. It's practical things that you can do to figure out why you're doing something rather than what you're doing. Because if you focus on what you're doing, you get lost in the task. But if you're always asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You don't really need to know what you're doing. Like when people go, what is it you do? I don't know what I do. I don't know what I do. I know exactly why I do it. And the what's always going to be different. But the why is the core of it. Like if I understand why I do something, then the what just comes naturally. Like it's just the next thing. Like there's a board full of what's there. Like things that I want to do. What tasks. Whereas the why is a staple. It's the same thing all the time. And that's what the book is about. And it's about finding your why and some of the stuff that I've done to help find the why. Because it's an actual thing. It's not like a mystical... Do you know what I mean? It's not like some mystical thing that you need to go searching for. It's like you just need to look inwards and act outwards. That's not the right way to say it. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. And as I'm writing the book, it's solidifying my reason for doing stuff. So that's what the book's about, and it's called A Practical Guide to Walrus Chasing. That's what it is. Ramble. How is your YouTube channel going? Tell us a little about that. Your videos are very informative as well as entertaining and funny. Thank you very much. Like, I appreciate that. My YouTube videos are, like, I love making them. I thought I was going to sneeze. I'm not sneezing. The professional walrus chaser thing has helped me understand my thing on YouTube, like what I'm doing on YouTube. I don't class myself as a YouTuber, right? I just like making videos. That's what it is. One day if YouTube goes down the Swanee, it's whatever the next thing is. It would just be uploading onto that. I'm not into this idea of getting 1,000 subscribers. Oh, I've got that, but like 100,000 and like getting marketing deals with like Squarespace and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't interest me. I don't want to do that. Like I know that the other stuff that I do is making me money. I'd rather have that than ad revenue. And because I'm doing that, it's allowing me to focus on the things that I want to make that I think are entertaining and informative, rather than going down the route of chasing a number. Do you know what I mean? Like chasing I want to get 100,000. So to get 100,000, what I need to do is I need to make tutorials all about the very specifics of spray painting. When really what I want to do is make a diddly bow. And then what I learn when I'm making the diddly bow is how to make a diddly bow. But I don't have a clue how to do that. And I'm not particularly good with woodwork and stuff like that. My tech teacher hated me, right? So what I think that does for other people is it makes them kind of go, oh man, that guy's a clown. I could do something like that. Like, that's quite funny. Like, I don't take it too seriously. And I like telling the story of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really into Hunter Thompson and his whole gonzo journalism thing, when it was like, turn up and you just let it happen. Whatever happens, just let it happen. Just do you and just allow the thing to become... And sometimes it'll be funny. Sometimes you'll look stupid. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with looking stupid because I'm not stupid. I don't look at myself and go, oh, I'm such an idiot. Like, I am when it comes to certain things, like the chessboard, for example. Like, I get so into whatever I'm doing at that time that everything else doesn't matter. So if I'm sitting there and I've got a chessboard out and I'm playing a game or something, because I really want to play, it's about strategy. So the whole idea of playing one move and then turn it around and looking for the best move it's almost like a debate. It's like that. That has made a big difference to the way that I plan out everything. It takes away the narrative and just becomes about strategy, right? So that's why I'm enjoying playing chess. But I know if I'm making something, that chessboard is going all over the place, right? And I'm going to catch it in film. And see, instead of me going and hiding that away, like I go, oh, that was funny. Like, it's just when things happen, try to look at it in a way where it's like, that's a funny thing, and that would make me laugh if someone else seen it. And if I make someone else laugh because I don't take myself seriously, then maybe they'll not take the things that they shouldn't be taken serious, and then it makes life a wee bit easier. Like, that's kind of it. So basically, numbers wise, YouTube's going okay. Do you know what I mean? It's going okay. I've not got hundreds of millions of people watching everything I do, but I am learning. But personal development wise, YouTube's going great. Like, I'm loving it. I love making videos. I love just turning up at a place and making a thing and like writing down an idea and seeing what happens, and then the more I'm doing it, the more I'm understanding how I tell a story, kind of thing. So it's going really good that way. But if like, and the funny thing is when you say to people like, "Oh, what is it you do?" Like, I do all this sort of stuff, and you go, "I've got a YouTube channel where I show it." Or they go, "Oh, how many subscribers you've got? Have you got?" And I'll say, "I don't know how many I've got." Now like 1,420 something. They look at you and use that as the unit of measurement of whether you're good or not. And I'm like, I don't even concern myself with that, because I think about why, and I think about why people watch what I do, and why people have decided to follow me on Instagram, and why if people asked me to do certain things and all that, because that why is much more important than how many folk are watching. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could have 100,000 people watching, and they just consume it, and it doesn't really mean anything, and then it's like an advert. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I have 10 people who really like what I do, and they're learning something, or it's making them feel something, then that why is much more important than how big that number is. That's what I mean. I am rambling like an absolute maniac, right? What am I saying now? What was that? Tell us a little more about that. The videos are informative, entertaining, funny. Yeah, that's it. That's how YouTube's going. Like, I really, really enjoy it, but it's not the be all end all. If something else came along tomorrow that was a better platform for me, I would go to that. YouTube is not the end goal. The end goal was catching this walrus. Right? Have you any new projects in the future? Or future endeavours in the pipeline? Hunters. Like, I'm busier than I've ever been, but in a good way. Like, about 6 months ago, I managed to bin a lot of the stuff that I had to do to make money that I didn't really enjoy doing, and was taking my focus away from stuff. But since writing out my job description and focusing on the why, it's allowed me to look at a job and go, that's worth this amount. But in the grander scheme of things, this thing might not be worth as much, but I'll get a lot more out of that in focusing on that. And the funny thing is, when I started focusing the things apart from money, the money started to go up a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I started to make a wee bit more and stuff, and I don't know. But I have got a lot in the pipeline. Like, I've got that Lucy in the Sky model that I want to finish. I have been working on an album, so I've been working the new songs for an album. I'm constantly trying to tell this story about the Walrus. I've got the book. Oh, I'm workshops. I'm doing walrus chasing workshops. So it's like groups where people can come in, and I take them through practical exercises and stuff, and like tell stories and things about reframing stuff, and like how your mindset will totally affect the way that you act. Like, it's just a case of, it's a difficult thing to choose. The way I see it is, it's like two doors. Like, this is one of the things I want to do in the workshop, where it's like two doors. You've got good thoughts and you've got bad thoughts, right? And you choose which door you go through. But you need to open it yourself and go through it, right? So you can be well aware that there's a good way of thinking of things and a bad way of thinking of things. And sometimes it's easier to go to the negative because the door's closer. But you're better standing on the outside looking than making the decision. But you should always try and think in the positive thing, where it's like for example, when I moved in here, all my thoughts process for a long time always went to the worst possible scenario. And the worst possible scenario about getting into my workshop was, what if I can't afford it? What if I can't afford it and then I don't have the money to pay for it next year? And then I need to go back to the garage. And I'm making all these videos where I'm moved out of the garage, and I made a video about moving out of the garage, and I've made this proclamation in front of people, and then all of a sudden you go back to the garage, and that's really embarrassing. That's an embarrassing thing. You're taking a step backwards. Now, that's a possibility. It's a total possibility, but the future's unwritten. It's not happened yet. And then when I was saying these things to my wife, it was my wife that said, what if this time next year you're making more money and you need a bigger space? And you're like, well, that is actually a possibility. And the two of them are just as possible as each other. Like, it could all fall through, or it could go really, really well. It's up to me which way I want it to go. And they tell Formula 1 race drivers, if you're driving a car, if you're driving your F1 car that's going, I don't know, 100 million miles an hour, and you crash and you go off the road, if you look at the wall you're going to crash into, that's where you'll go. But they train race drivers to look at the road, regardless of where they are. They keep looking at the road, and that's where you'll go. So basically, what that is about. I can't even remember the question now, but like you look at the focus on the good, focus on the best possible outcome that you want, and the future's unwritten. And if you keep looking at it, it's not a straight line. It's a jaggy path, right? But you can keep going in this direction rather than that direction, and that's what the workshops are about. It's about stuff like that. Pulled it straight back into topic. That's what the workshops are about. So it's about that, getting to the next bit, getting to the focus on the good bits, and just different things that I've had to do. Because like I not that I figured these out myself, but like I've read loads, and I'm really into this sort of stuff. But I was never practically doing it, like actually putting the stuff in place. And some stuff happened where I'm like, you know what, man? Yeah, you are here once. It's no dress rehearsal. I'm not going to look at. I'm aware there's a door. I'm aware there's a bad door. But the future's unwritten, and I'm always going to try and look at this. But I need to be aware that all the other stuff can happen. But this is my story, and I'm going to focus on that bit and latch on to a good destination, which is painting this walrus and moving towards it. That's it. So that's what the workshops are about, and what the book's about by proxy. So it's like the book is the workshop, and they kind of go and they kind of complement each other, but the book is me solidifying some of the things that I want to teach and I want to facilitate, and the workshops are the actual practical bits, but you can do the both. Right. Do you have any advice for inspiring artists that maybe lack confidence to pursue their passion for fear of being judged, living in a world where we have Instagram? The bar is set so high, and a lot of the times artists give up before they have even given themselves a chance to develop their skills. My advice would be this: don't chase numbers, right? I'm not sitting here with 100,000 million people looking at what I do and saying, "Oh, don't think about numbers." I don't. I have nothing. Very, very few. I don't have. And the most I've got is over 4,000 likes on Facebook. I don't have a massive audience. I'm not under public scrutiny, or not even public scrutiny. Like, I don't have a thing where people go, "Oh my God, there's 100,000 people looking at this guy. He must be doing something good." Like, I don't have that, and it's not that I don't want that, right? It's not that I'm not like, but it's not the be all end all, and it'll happen if it happens, right? But right now, in the present, I am happy, right? Focus on that bit, and nothing is insurmountable if you really want to do it. But you need to say it. You need to say it out loud. Like, I'm a huge believer in the universe, and you need to say the things that you want to do and actually put them out into the universe. But you can't just sit on the couch and then wait for them to happen. You need to keep saying them and moving towards them. And time is something that I think about a lot, where it's like if I think back this time last year, I was in the middle of a lockdown and my diary was wiped. Like, when the lockdown was all kicking off and stuff, like, I had jobs that just disappeared and I had no money, like nothing. And that was the point when I had two doors. It's like, I can either focus on the fact that I've got no money, or I can focus on what I do have. And what I do have is things I can do. Like, I can make things. Like, the lockdown's taken away the ability to do the things that are making money, but there's more stuff I can do. And thinking about the positive bit, and it is a learned skill. It's not something that you are born with, and it's not something you're entitled to. It's something you have to work on, and knowingly work on it. Like, I still do it. I will look through my feed on Instagram. It's a trap where you look through it and you see somebody that you think that is doing something, and they've got something or they've achieved something, and I look at it. And sometimes I'll go, "Why is that not me?" Right? Honestly, why that wasn't me? And I need to. I now do this. I go, "That's not what you do." That's it. That's not what I do. I'm a professional walrus chaser. Like, and that's what that's allowed me to do, is I've quantified what it is I do, and then I change that into happy. Like, I'm happy for them. That's good. Like, see if they're achieving the things that they really want to do, and it's really making them happy. Amazing. More power to you. Keep going. We need more people like that. Like, do you know what I mean? But I need to actively catch myself. I'm not perfect. Like, no one is. But it's having the ability to catch yourself doing it. So, I can't really succinct my advice for an artist, or anybody for that matter, into one kind of specific point, right? But the thing that I tell myself that really works for me is I am in competition with no one but the person I was yesterday. That's it. And that's all through my life. So like with my kids, for example, like sometimes I'm not the best dad that I want to be. Do you know what I mean? And like sometimes I'll be like short-tempered sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes. And I can either focus on that and go, I was really short-tempered today and I shouldn't have done that, which I do. I reflect on the way I acted. But that was yesterday. And today I'm in competition with that dad from yesterday and I'm going to be better than him. So it's just like that, and it's the same with the art thing, but it's like I made a diddly bow. It wasn't the most pretty thing in the world, so the next time I'm in competition with that first one I made. Like, I'm not in competition with someone else that makes diddly bows. I'm not in competition with someone who paints murals. I'm in competition with me, and that's it. And if you can focus on that bit, then you'll be happy. It'll be an easier way to achieve happiness. You're in competition with yourself, and time brings that perspective where you think about like in 50 years time I'll be 84 if I make it to 84. That 84-year-old person isn't really going to care about the person I was on Tuesday the 5th of May. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's not how to quantify it. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out myself. I don't think there is a specific answer, but these are the things that worked for me. That's it. Don't concern yourself with numbers. Concern yourself with happiness. Don't don't think about money. Think about it as time. Right? Time's the most important currency you've got. So your money, you trade your time for money, when really what you should be doing is thinking about that sort of stuff. Like, how do I get more time to do the things I want to do? Because you're not guaranteed time. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm kind of rambling a wee bit now. Giving up. I've gave up 3 times. There's nothing wrong with giving up. You know what I mean? It's giving up forever. That's the problem. Like, I've given up 3 times. I walked away from jobs. I walked away from doing the things. Like, I gave up in music. Got a job. Hated it. Gave up on that. Wanted to become a community artist. It was really difficult. It was really hard to make money. No one took me seriously. I was too young. They would talk to everyone else in the room that was older than me as if they had the answers, and it was me that was doing the work. Gave up. Moved on to something else. Got a job in a digital marketing company. Hated it. Gave up. Started doing this. Like, there's not it's not the giving up that's the problem. It's giving up forever that's the problem. Sometimes you need to give up and have that time, that perspective to look back and go, that's why it didn't work. And every time I look back now and I go, that's why it didn't work, it's not anyone else's fault, right? But when I look at it, there's reasons why I gave up. And I gave up because I was depending too much on other people and not having confidence in myself and that sort of stuff. And that taking that time away allows you to reflect. So, on my YouTube channel, right? So, you can get me at Mr. Tragic O'Hara on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube, and where I make stuff and I do that kind of thing. So, if you've seen anything in this that interests you, like, I feel free to subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know how the game works, feeding the algorithm and that. So yeah, and that's it. Look, thank you very much for asking me to do this and that. And yeah, I think what I might do is I might just send you this as a winner for you to watch, but I might meet up with you because I feel like I was a bit all over the place there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm talking to myself. So, right, cool. Thank you very much. See you later on.